you actually learned something. Like when you came here, you said, okay, I need to slow it down a little bit. I need to relax a little bit,
Yeah.
maybe not be so crazy, intense, focused, and then, but I do think that probably people took you more seriously because of that intensity, though they did take you a little bit more seriously, like they could count on you. Because
Oh,
I
yeah.
think we can count on people. Because if you're too calm, if you're too relaxed and you don't answer your emails ever,
Yeah.
then that could be a problem too, right? I
It's
mean, it's
fine.
like so
Yeah.
there is a nice. I think what you're explaining is there was a nice healthy balance
Yeah.
to the way that you did transition. Because if you would have just went totally relaxed, number one, you'd have never got shit done,
Yeah.
and number two, people would have been looking at you like you're a flake. And I
Yeah.
don't think anybody, and LA, because there are, I mean, let's be honest. I mean, if you're in LA or California, people do expect you to get shit done. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
obviously, I mean, if you only got a couple of chances with people, because they'll ditch you real fast.
Yeah.
At least I think people, they want somebody that they can rely on. They want somebody that's dependable. But I like that. I like how you transitioned really well. And so you get out here, and then what was the, like, did you get some parts that were, that kind of kept you going? Like, how did you stay afloat financially? Or was that rough? Was that tough? Did you have some savings? Was there odd jobs that you were working? Tell me about that process for
Oh,
you.
yeah. There was definitely the odd jobs. I did have work here and there. I did a lot of indie features, and some small co-star roles here and there. And I was also a college recruitment host. So I was also flying around the country, and I was filming college recruitment videos for universities and colleges. So that was also like one of the jobs. And I wound up there learning how to be a field producer, a PA producer, because I was producing the videos as well and helping out with that, and an editor. Because at one point our system crashed and we lost 250 videos. And these are colleges, these are huge universities that are like, hey, we need that video. And so they trained me in like how to do, and I had like the 3 monitor setup, my own dark room, and I learned how to be an editor. Which I will say this for anyone in the filmmaking industry, learning how to edit it helped me so much with effective timing, who to pick for, because I still produce now. I've done way more producing now, and acting. But I love jumping into producing. It helped with like who's going to get things done and who's going to kind of do extra time, or also with acting, it helps you with consistency and what's the word I'm looking for? Can't think of the word right now. It'll come after this, but basically like if you're taking a drink of something, you have to know how to refill it or where it was in each part of the scene. Otherwise, when you go to cut it, they're going to cut you out because it's not going to match frame, because you drank too much over here and now the glass doesn't match because they're matching it from a cut you did 5 hours ago. So it became this like huge lesson on things. So that was one of the odd jobs. Another odd job was I was a special events bartender. So I bartended like random events around like Hollywood. And I was like a bartender for Seth MacFarlane's Christmas parties, and like got to meet, Leonardo DiCaprio and Jonah Hill. And it was like all these really amazing people that was like, oh, wow. And it was really beautiful to see that the human and people. I think that a lot of people have a tendency to put a lot of spiritual gurus, politicians, actors, actresses, they put people on way too much of a pedestal, and they can't be human and have flaws, which as an actor, I'm the epitome of a beautifully flawed human being who's overcoming those things. I put that in the art, but like, make no mistake, I'm human. I'm still on this journey. I still am developing my own spiritual journey, and access to that, and figuring out, oh, this mistake means this, or oh, this was from childhood that I hadn't figured out yet, or oh, here's this toxic person, which represent, we're on this journey together. So it taught me a lot. It got me to see the human side and so many things, be a part of it. And then eventually what happened was, which was really cool, I came out with a film, Love and Hostages. I'm the lead of that. That one's on Amazon Prime right now. That was several years ago that we came out with that. And then a friend of mine was, I can't remember what she was doing. She was working on something, but she wound up meeting Gary Marshall, and who was a good friend of her boyfriend at the time. and she met him, and he's this, Brooklyn sounding, man. And I'm not sure if you're familiar with Gary Marshall, but he was the
Oh
one that
yeah,
did pretty. Okay, yeah,
absolutely. Oh yeah, 100%.
he
Yeah.
created Overboard, Pretty Woman, Mork and Mindy. I mean, all of these things. Odd Couple.
Just want you to know, I was in Pretty Woman, by the way. So that's my claim to fame. Most people probably don't know
Oh my God,
that's
that's
watching this.
amazing.
I was an extra though. I was an extra.
That's still
You have to
there.
literally put it in slow-mo right before she throws her gum out on the street on
Yes.
Rodeo. Okay.
Okay.
I was about 14 years old. And
Wow.
I was walking in the background right there all day long. I was
Oh
hanging
my
out with
God, I
Julia
love it.
Roberts and
Yes.
Richard Gere. We were hanging out because it was a really hot day under the little, shade in one of the buildings. And yeah, it was really cool. So anyways,
I
I had to
love it.
throw that in
Oh,
because I know
yes.
Gary Marshall. I know all these people. I'm like,
Yes.
yeah. So anyways, it's
Oh, that
awesome.
makes me so happy to hear. I
So,
miss him so much. So I met him. My friend met him and was like, "Oh, you got to meet someone. I've got someone that like you guys would click." And we met, and it was just we were two peas in a pod. We just cracked. And so I became one of his mentees, one of his last mentees with him for the last like 2 to 3 years of his life. And he was starting to teach me producing and more writing. I'd been a writer since I was a kid, but it'd been something that I kind of dabbled in and put it down. And so he and I started developing some projects together, and he was teaching me producing, and he was teaching me the making industry, and teaching me that it's like that I'm allowed to be well-rounded. I don't have to do just one thing. And my God, he was so funny. I remember one time he would always ask, he did this beautiful thing where with his friends and family and anyone close in his mentees, he would always kind of start off the meeting and kind of, or like the interaction that you have with them, and kind of be like, okay, so tell me your problems. I want to hear all your problems. And one time, now there are times where I would look at him as like, this is a legend. You know what I mean? And then there are other times that's also my friend and my mentor, and he's one of the most incredible human beings I've ever met in my entire life. And so I couldn't believe it. Out pops my mouth when he's like, "So tell me your problems. I want to hear your problems." I was like, "Why? Because you don't know what those are like anymore." And we just started like crying, laughing. And I was like, "Oh, you want to hear what it's like for the lowly people now? Is that it? That for you?" And he was just like, "Yeah, Natalie, you're pretty, but your mind. I love your mind." And yeah, I still have the voicemails from him. I still think about him all the time. I still listen to the voicemails. And that was one of the most incredible experiences. When he passed away, I didn't do too well. It took me a while to heal, because he mattered a lot to me. I still like,
What?
yeah.
I love that you talk about, the human aspect of these people because, especially as Americans, or not even Americans, probably around the world, we look at these people as superhuman. And I always,
Yes.
even in my own business, and you probably don't know a whole lot about me, but I run a financial services company, but it's a part of a major New York Stock Exchange corporation that has
Oh, that's cool.
150,000 people. And so even within our own, company, there's so many people that will put certain people up on a pedestal.
Yes.
And you look at these people like they're not normal, but we all started off the same. Most of us started broke, right? I mean,
Yeah.
let's be honest, right? Most of us started with no money, but we just had an insatiable desire and will to win, like to do something significant with our life, whether it be
Yes.
an actor or an entrepreneur or anybody that has ever done anything significant. There was just something inside of us that and I think that's why even, yourself, when you came here and you were like, just go, 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 because there's something inside of you that you really wanted to be somebody. You wanted to,
Yeah.
and I tell people all the time, I mean, I think we all have a flashing sign on our back that says, look, say something good to me.
Yes.
Tell me I'm special. Tell
See
me I'm
me.
great. See me. Everybody wants that. And if people say that that they don't like people to say nice things about them, they're just being humble, because
Wow,
it's the
false humility on that one. That's the self, or the false pride on that one.
right.
That's because they don't feel like they actually deserve it, and they speak to themselves terribly.
Yeah.
I used to be like that.
Yeah. But I think that, you know, when you came here, you're like trying to achieve something, accomplish something. And so anyways, I think it's awesome that we all have to kind of not put these people so high up and say, look, they're normal, regular people. They just, for somewhere along the line, and I'm not saying some of them got lucky. There's no question that winning in life, you know, there is a little bit of luck in there, but a lot of it was discipline and hard work and focus and, you know, just all these little steps. If you like this video and you would like to watch another clip, click right here. If you want to watch the entire podcast, click right here.